So thank you. Well, good morning. Let's get started. Thanks for being here and coming to your mat to replenish yourself and nourish yourself, and just being together in this container of space here to just connect. We are in the energy of the year where it's more yin and in. So the energy's moving in and down, just like in the trees right now. And that's our invitation in our own bodies to return in, yin and down. And so we're going to have a practice to support that energy flow this morning. When we look at the phases of the moon, we're in the waning gibbous. We're in the final frontier, the final phase before we hit the winter solstice, which is like the new moon of the year. So we're in the darkest time of the year right now. And so we just really want to honor this energy of moving in and nourishing our own inner light as we are heading into this darker time. So there's a great sensitivity that has to be applied to our every movement, our every choice, where we really tune into what feels most honoring of our own energy and our own body. And so that's always a little tricky as we head into the holidays, right? When there's a lot of kind of external stimulation going on, of things going on. So we have to just choose really what's going to serve us best. And so let's begin here and just finding our center and with our breath. And that's where we always return in any moment where we need to drop back in and yin. We want to come to our belly breath. Finding the breath traveling from our bellies and in through the nose, and then exhaling slowly out the mouth. We help to move energy, emotions. And then the whole cycle begins again. On the in-breath, we nourish our yin energy. And on the out-breath, as we release out, there's that yang energy. So we have this cycle of yin and yang, all within the breath. And just to help to facilitate this energy flow, we're going to place one hand now across our forehead, and then bring one or two fingers to rest in the notch of the throat, right under the Adam's apple. Continuing to breathe through your nose and out through your mouth as we apply this extra support to our own nervous system in coming into its sense of balance, of harmony. Take one more breath here. Releasing your hands. Go ahead and just shake the hands out to discharge that energy. Let's find our fingers resting at the center points of our collarbones. We're just going to drift down an inch below here and begin to tap on the body as we continue breathing in through our nose, out through our mouth, moving into our energy medicine yoga wake up practice, where we just begin to really communicate to our bodies through its native language, which is pulsation, vibration. So as we tap on the body, we're helping to get energy unstuck. Use the exhale out the mouth to facilitate that movement of energy. Good. Now let's come to the center of the sternum bone. Supporting our immune systems. Good. Let's come to the side seams of the low ribs, tapping here. And then traveling up to our cheekbones. One more breath here. Good. Shake out the hands. Relax your hands on your legs. Close your eyes. Take a couple moments here in physical stillness while observing the movement or the space within your core body. The yin energy resides within us, within our core. And then we'll continue to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And we'll tap our hand to our leg on the same side a few times as we begin to help our brain here to open up and to reset. So we're going to pause now. We're going to brush off our hands, shake them off, and take our opposite hand over to our opposite leg. So this is helping to get both sides of our brain, both hemispheres, communicating with each other. So there's clear communication, and there's clear communication flowing to our body. One more breath here. Good. And then we'll settle in with the hands resting right in front of our hips, a couple inches right off of our pubic bone. And here, before we move into our zip up practice, we're going to set our intention for our practice this morning or for our day. So what would you like to really embody today? And then we're going to take that intention and we're going to inhale it up the center line of our body through all of our energy centers, placing it there. And then we'll exhale our hands around our body and into our energy field. Continue to move with your breath, with your hands, and just repeating your intention. When we work with intention, we move energy. And when we place that intention into our energy field, we support that being our experience, our reality. Let's move that intention one more time through our field. And now we're going to hook it up to our center. So we'll place one finger in our navel. One finger rests right between our eyebrows. Press in on these 2 points. Pull up and take 3 more breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Good. And then release your hand, shake off your hands. We're going to bring our fingers up into the top of our sternum bone, and you can use 1 or 2 hands, and we're going to massage straight down the sternum. Deep breath still as we clear our lungs. These are the neurolymphatic points to release toxins from our lungs. Remember, that can be physical. It can also be emotional. Maybe we're supporting just the release of grief this morning, which is held in our lungs. So we'll just keep going down to the bottom of the sternum. Good. And now we're going to come up to right in between the top two ribs here. And we're going to massage in between the ribs on either side of the sternum. So we clear another set of lung neurolymphatic points. And then we can drop down to the next set of indentations between the next ribs here. It's helping to open our lungs so we have more breath, more oxygen capacity flowing through. Good. And then let's shake out our hands, and we're going to stretch our legs out now. And we're going to take our two fists over to our right leg, and we're going to place our fists on the inside seam and the outside seam of the thigh. And we're going to massage now deeply, deep breaths. And we'll just spend 3 seconds on a spot, and then we'll go down, and we're heading toward the knee as we clear our large and small intestines now of toxins. So really dig in there. It will hurt if you're doing it right. Keep going down. Good. And then you can come back up toward the hip again. And when you feel complete with that leg, just brush off the leg, shake out the hands, and come on over to your other leg now. Deep massage on the outer and inner thigh. Just being mindful if you know you have a bruise somewhere on that outer leg to avoid that. And once you get to the knee, you can head back up toward your hip. Deep breaths out through the mouth. Exhale. Help release those toxins. Brush off the leg. Shake out the hands. We're going to come back into our cross-legged position, but you can do opposite leg on top this time. Scooching right to the front edge of your prop. So the pelvis is tilting forward. Begin to just feel your spine stacking through the vertebrae here. And then we're going to place our hands now right at our heart center. We're going to move through just a gentle seated cat-cow movement here with our breath. So before we go anywhere, let's just tune into our breath. And let's feel a sense of lightness, softness through our whole body, through the tissues, through our skin. Just feeling a sense of space. Good. Now, as we inhale, we're going to lift our heart into our hands, draw our shoulders back. And as we exhale, we're going to connect our pointer fingers and thumbs as we round our spine and push our hands out into the cat shape. On your next inhale, your arms are going to float lightly up toward the sky. And then we'll exhale, slowly release our arms down. Hands come back to the heart. So that's the movement with our breath. We inhale, we lift our heart, shoulders draw back. Exhale, we round the spine and we push. We've got some muscle energy in our arms. And then as we inhale, our arms float light like wings up. And as we exhale, they slowly release down and around and back to the heart. Continuing with this movement with your breath. Inhale, seated cow pose. Exhale, rounding your spine, navel to core or navel to spine as you push your hands out. Inhale, get light in your upper body. And exhale, continue that lightness as you release down and around back to your heart. Again, inhaling to lift. Exhale, navel to spine as you push your hands out. It's like you're creating space from your body out through your energy field for your presence, for what you need. Good. Hands come back to the heart. Let's do this one more time. Inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale, rounding your spine. Push. Inhale, get light from your inner body and out through your fingers as you slowly release. Hands come to rest at your heart. All right, let's come off of our seat now. We are going to make our way onto our backs. I'd like you to have your strap, and let's make a loop in our strap before we lie down, just so we can get that out of the way. We'll take the end of the strap through the rings, pull it through, and then come back through the center of the two rings to make our little cinch in our strap. And then we're just going to bring our loop down to the size of a large grapefruit. About that width. And then have a block nearby you within reach. And then go ahead and lie on your back. And if you'd like to have some more head support, you can put your blanket down. Just find yourself on the earth. So as you arrive here, there's an awareness of your back body resting on the ground. And we're going to tuck our left shoulder blade underneath us so that it moves down toward our left hip. And then we'll rest it on the earth again so it's flat. And then we'll do the same thing on the right side. We'll tuck the shoulder blade in and down toward that right hip and then come back down. Our feet are hip distance apart, and you might have to take a peek over on each side of your outer foot to make sure that they're really lined up with the sides of your mat. And then we're going to take our block and we're going to hug the block inside of our inner thighs, so the long direction. And so there's that hugging in action and energy moving in, okay? So we're going to take this into our flowing bridge pose here. So on your next inhalation, root your feet, lift your hips up toward the sky. Feel the backs of your shoulders and the back of your head rooted into your mat. As you exhale, release that back body tone and release your hips back to the earth. You still have the block engaged between the inner thighs. Move with your breath. Back body strong and toned as the front body lifts and opens spaciously. And then exhaling and softening your back body into the ground. Let's do this 2 more times with your breath. And the next time your hips release down, go ahead and completely soften the back body. And now on our next inhale, we're once again going to lift our hips up into bridge pose, and then the arms are now going to travel up and overhead, resting on or near the floor. And we're going to stay here in our bridge pose now, feeling the roots of our feet, the backs of our shoulders, the back of our head, and if the backs of our palms are on backs of our hands are on the earth, we feel them also pressing down. The front body is open, it's light, it's extending through your kneecaps. The breaths are steady as we return into yogic breathing, breathing in and out through our nose. But anytime we feel that buildup of energy or emotion, we can exhale out the mouth to move the energy. Take one more breath here. And then we'll slowly release all of our limbs back to the mat. And we can remove our block now out to the side. Good. Let's place our right ankle now onto our left thigh for reclined pigeon. First, we're going to open our right hip so our right knee is moving away from the body. And then we're going to tone our belly and we're going to draw the left leg in toward the chest. Our hands can come behind our left thigh or our strap if we'd like to use our strap, one in each hand, to draw the leg in. So let's pulse here. Let's inhale the legs away from the chest and then exhale as we slowly guide them back in. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and guide the legs in. Stay here as you continue to breathe, as you lean into an edge, a sticky spot in your right outer hip, sitting bone, glutes. And then option here to straighten your left leg up toward the sky. Foot is flexed as if you were going to walk on your ceiling. And then simultaneously, pull your thigh bone down back into your left hip socket. Good. Let's rotate our left wrist or left ankle in one direction. And then slowly the other direction. Good. And then we'll take another breath here, full extension through your left leg. And then release, bending the knee, and release both feet one at a time to the mat. Let's pause for a moment here, release your hips. And we'll head to the second side. Left ankle comes to your right thigh. Your left foot is flexed and your left knee is slowly moving away from the body. And then we'll draw the right thigh in toward the chest, hands coming behind the thigh or a strap. Let's pulse here first. Inhale, releasing. And exhale, guiding the legs in as we become aware now of the sticky areas, perhaps in our left outer hip, glutes, and even into the pelvic floor. And then guiding your legs in, let's stay here and breathe into one of those sticky areas. And then option to stretch your right leg up toward the sky. Foot is flexed. So at the same time, you're using your hands on the back of your thigh to root your leg bone back down into your hip socket. And then rotate your right ankle in one direction. Going into the ligaments and the tendons in that ankle and muscles that support you in walking. and all the other activities we love to do. And so then we'll circle the ankle in the other direction. Good. And then we'll take another breath here. And we'll release one foot at a time to the earth. Let's stretch our legs out now, all the way onto the ground. We'll take our arms up overhead. We'll take a full body stretch here. Just flexing and pointing your ankles and feet. Good. Now we're going to walk our feet over to the left diagonal, and we're hugging our inner thighs and inner ankles together the whole way, as if we were standing on the ground. And then we'll take a hold of our right wrist, and we'll slowly extend our wrist away from our right hip bone. And then guide your arm over your head toward your left foot, breathing into sticky areas that are making themselves known in this side of the body. So with this yin energy, this inward yin, it's very much about being curious, pausing, receiving. I just invite you into that kind of curiosity in your body this morning. Like, what is that spot in my right hip? What am I hanging on to there? Sending some breath and just the intention of movement. All right, we can come back to center and then walk our legs and feet over to the right as far as we can so they stay hugged together. And we'll take a hold of our left wrist, gently extending the arm away from the left hip. And then guiding your arm over your head any amount till you enter into an area you'd like to breathe into in that left rib cage, outer belly, outer hip. Take another breath here. And then let's come back to center. Bring our arms to our sides, and we're going to bend our knees now and place our feet hip distance apart again. We're going to take our block to its lowest level and lift our hips up and set the block right under the back of our sacrum. If you lost the tuck of your shoulder blades, go ahead and retuck down toward the hips. And we're going to do a little bit of core work and extension through the legs. And so our right leg is going to extend out. And we're just going to leave the right heel on the earth for this moment. Kind of feel that nice extension through the front right psoas, the front of your hip. And we're going to bring our awareness now to our lower ribs. Knit your ribs down toward your hip bones and feel your belly muscles contract. Feel your breath still traveling through your diaphragm at your low ribs. So both the breath is still spacious, yet you're also contracted in your core. So we're going to do some core movements here. So we want to keep that knitted action going. Go north now up to your front throat and relax your neck muscles. See if you can do that while still contracting your core. Good. Now we're going to lift our right leg off the earth and bring our thighs parallel to each other. So this is going to be home base now. Foot is flexed. Now, as you inhale, your right leg is going to float up above your right hip using your core muscles. And then as you exhale, your leg will come back so the thighs are parallel once again. So you'll move with your breath here, inhaling the leg up, using your core, not just the momentum of the leg, and then slowly lowering down. I'm going to do a total of 7, so we have 5 more here. And when you've done your 7, go ahead and extend your right leg all the way. So really reach it long and then lower the heel back to the mat and relax here for a couple of breaths. Like we're making our roots longer here. Okay, so now what we're going to do as we activate our low ribs to our hip bones, we're going to float our right leg back up so it's parallel with the left thigh. And now we're going to externally rotate our right leg so our toes are turned out to 2 o'clock. And then now again, we'll lift our leg slowly up above the right hip. Core is engaged as you lower it back down halfway. Maybe the number 7 for all the movements is going to be too much today. Maybe just 5 really good movements or 4. So really just tuning in. We're not looking to over effort. We're just looking to strengthen our inner body here, our core, and nurture that digestive fire, as well as strengthening here in our outer right hip. So when you're complete, bring your whole leg back to neutral, reach it long as the right heel comes to meet your mat again, and then just relax. Okay, for our final movement on this side, as we activate the low ribs to our hip bones, the right leg's going to float up again halfway, and now we're going to internally rotate our whole right leg. Toes are at 10 o'clock. And we'll inhale the leg slowly up above the right hip. It's okay if your knee is slightly bent. If the hamstrings aren't ready to be that open, that's just fine. So now we're getting that inner thigh, kind of inner groin, psoas, toning with our core. And when you feel you're complete, bring your leg back to neutral and lengthen the leg all the way onto the earth. Relax here. Good. Now we'll drag our right heel back toward our right hip. Set our foot on the mat. And now we'll go to the second side, extending our left leg, heel on the earth. Here we contract our low ribs to our hip bones, activating the core. And then we'll float our leg up and inhale it up above the left hip. Exhale, the leg comes halfway down. Using your core. Foot stays flexed. Good. Yeah, it looks really good. Can you relax your front of your neck? Really making that deep layer of your core to lead the way with the work. And when you feel complete, the leg lengthens. Slowly release it to your mat and relax your front hip and thigh. Okay, we activate the core. The leg's going to lift up halfway. Externally rotate your leg. Foot toes are at 10 o'clock. And then slowly lifting the leg up, using the core to make the movements. If you've lost your breath, pause, return to your breath. And then come back in with that core integration. And when you're complete, the leg comes back to neutral first, and then lengthen it all the way down. Completely relax your left leg and hip. And final movement in this position here. We'll float the leg up. We'll turn our leg internal rotation, toes at 2 o'clock. As we draw and knit our low ribs down toward our hip bones, using that support to move our leg. Can you stay soft in your front neck and jaw? And when you feel complete, the leg will straighten to neutral and the leg bone reaches long as the heel rests on the earth. And let's drag our left heel toward our left sitting bone, feet on the mat. Lift your hips up, remove your block. Set it to the side for the moment, and then find your strap here. And we're going to bend our right knee toward the chest and place the loop of our strap around the ball of our right foot. And then you can cinch the strap up a little bit more so it just stays there on your foot. And then We'll straighten our right leg, and your left leg can stay bent, or you can straighten it onto the earth, rooting the heel down. However your foot is making contact with the mat, just make sure it's rooted. And now bring your block and hug it into your right outer hip, so it's touching your skin. Good, and we're gonna press the ball of our foot into our strap here. Again, like we're stepping on the ceiling. And our left arm is going to come out onto the earth. Our right hand is supporting the strap, and our right elbow is resting on the ground. We're going to take our leg out a couple inches, pause, feel the ball of the foot pressing. So the ball of the foot, it's part of our roots, it's part of our foundation. We're pressing it into the strap, and we're feeling our leg bone really long. And then we're continuing to open our hip. So we're going to pause here, and we're going to feel our left body anchored on the earth right now. Our left hand and arm, the hip down to our foot. As the right side of the body is opening, feel that dynamic opposition of energy, that feeling rooted in the left side, and feeling spacious in your right body. Feel the support of the block on your outer right hip so that you can be in this position a little bit longer, focusing on this inner leg opening from your inner hip out to your inner heel. It's supported right now from the yang energy of your outer ankle, toning back up to your outer right hip. Can you stay soft in your face and in your neck and even in the grip on the strap? And when you're ready, the leg can slowly come back up above your right hip. Pause. You're going to grab your block now and switch it over onto your left side. And you're going to go out probably a couple feet from your body in line with your left thigh. And the block, what we're using the block for over here, I'll show you in a moment. So we're going to switch hands on the strap and place our right arm on the earth. We're going to relax our left leg. And we're going to take our right leg over the center of our body toward the left. And we're pressing the ball of the foot into our strap. And our right hip comes off the earth, but our right shoulder blade stays planted. So we've got this twist in our belly. So the block here can be used for your right foot to land on, and you can bring the block up to a higher height if you'd like. And you can also omit the block, but it's kind of nice to just let the right foot have a landing place as we come into this dynamic opposition right now of this twist in our belly organs. Just feel your breath traveling into the whole bowl of your belly. So the back body's receiving your oxygen, your awareness. If it feels good for your neck, you can bring your right ear to the mat. And let your head come back to center if it was turned. Bend your right knee softly and then guide your right leg up and remove your strap. Let's relax both legs down on the earth. Now we'll balance everything out on the left side now. So bring your block and hug it into your left hip. Your right leg can stay straight or bend the knee, foot on the mat. And now we'll bend the left knee and place our strap on the ball of our left foot, right on the roots, on our foundation. Straightening our left leg as we press the ball of the foot into the strap. The leg is positioned above our left hip. Now we'll take our right arm out onto the earth. Our right side of our body is going to be our new anchor here. As the left side opens, the leg travels out a couple inches, pausing along the way to reassess here. So as you feel into your left leg, there's a tone from your outer left ankle. It's drawing up the outside of your leg to your left hip. You're hugging in toward your body, toward your midline. And then you're coming to your left inner groin, connects to your left side of your pelvis, right on the pubic bone. And you're extending out through your roots, out through the left inner seam of your leg. The block is here supporting your outer hip. It's like your whole left side of your body is getting to just shine and open out, supported by the right side of your body. Take another breath here. And then we'll guide our leg back up above our hip. And we'll place our block over on the right side of the body, the right thigh, a couple feet out. And then the left arm will anchor you onto the earth. And we'll take our left leg nice and straight across the midline of our body. Here comes that twist in our organs. Then you can always just adjust your block further out to let your foot find a resting place if that's available. And then perhaps the left ear would like to come to the mat. Let your head come back to center. Bend your left knee and guide the leg back up. Remove your strap. Stretch your legs down onto the earth. Reach your arms overhead. Take a full body stretch here. Just feeling that space in your inner body. as it extends through your outer body. And then we'll make our way onto our side into fetal position, knees hugging toward the chest and belly softening toward the earth. And then slowly press yourself back up. We're going to make our way onto our hands and our knees here. So if you'd like to bring a knee pad in, you can use your blanket, center of your mat. And then we're going to grab our blocks and set our blocks nearby toward the top of the mat. And when you come onto your mat, go ahead and just find your hands spread nice and wide. Knees are going to come apart as you come onto the tops of your feet, big toes coming together. We're going to walk our hands, this block here, we're going to walk our hands a little bit further away from our body. We're going to draw the navel toward the spine, and we're going to float our shoulders above our wrists and our shoulder blades down the back. So the front hips are releasing. And then as we exhale the breath, we're going to stretch and extend the spine into child's pose. So we're going to come into a breath to movement sequence here. As we inhale forward, drawing the shoulders back, exhaling the hips slowly back toward the feet. So we want to have that core activation, navel to spine, just to support our lower back as we move here. Next time that you're in child's pose, go ahead and rest your head either on the mat or a block or your hands. Good, and then we'll rise up out of our hips here, and we're going to align our knees underneath our hips. And we're going to take our blocks now underneath our hands. And we're going to step our left foot forward into Anjaneyasana kneeling lunge. We're just rising up here now, spine extending out of the hips. Just feeling light, spacious, and open in the inner body here. And we're going to take our right hand onto our block, and we're going to move our block just out toward the edge of the mat. And our left hand's going to slide to our left hip. So before we go anywhere, we want to feel the inner thigh activation toward the midline, toward your center. And then we're going to rotate now our low belly toward the left thigh. And we're going to begin our twisting lunge here as we continue up our spine and bringing our left rib cage around our left chest. You can also choose to omit the block and bring your hand to the earth. And then the left arm is going to stretch up toward the sun. And we're going to rotate now our left arm slowly behind the body, like we're in a backstroke. And then the arm will come around toward the bent knee and then up and around with the breath. The next time your arm is up overhead, pause here. Flick each finger on your thumb, starting with your pinky finger, to activate the meridians in your hands. And then flick all the fingers on your thumb a few times. Good. Now we'll inhale here. And as you exhale, you're going to weave your hand back and forth into your energy field here in the side body. Good. And then we'll bring our hands to our blocks. And we're going to draw the back knee up and step forward now. And before we go to the second side of our lunge, we're going to bend our knees and completely release our head and spine toward the earth. So there's a bend in your knees. This isn't about a hamstring stretch at the moment. This is about releasing tension out of your spine and hips. Good. And we'll take our hands on our blocks and we'll step our left foot behind our knee pad if we're using one. And we'll lower the knee down. And then bring your blocks under your hips here. And we'll bring our left block out to the side of the mat if we're using a block, or the hand can come to the mat. And then we'll bring our right hand to our hip. Before we turn, let's set up the foundation. Feet rooted, inner thighs hugging in toward your midline. And then continuing this twist from the low spine and moving up, drawing your ribs around your chest, and then the arms stretching up. And taking these arm circles slowly back and around the body here. So from the shoulder, yeah, beautiful. Just backward arm strokes. Next time your arm is stretching skyward, flick each finger on the thumb and then all the fingers on your thumb a few times. Good. And now as you exhale your breath, you're weaving your hand back and forth in your energy field. It's like you're making these horizontal figure eights. You're literally sealing your own energy field of any holes or cracks. Good. So now we'll bring our blocks to the front of the mat again. We'll draw the back knee up and step forward. And we'll bend the knees and release our head and spine again. So our heart is just moving toward our roots, just turning the energy in. Good. So we're going to be dropping down into a squatted position, and you can just kind of reach behind and kind of roll or fold your blanket and place your heels on your blanket, hands on the blocks, descending your hips down. You could also choose to just roll onto the balls of your feet, lift your heels, release the hips. And you can also choose to just sit fully onto the blanket and hug knees to the chest, spine extending, whichever position you are choosing. Good. Breathe, lifting up through the spine and heart, wherever you are. Good. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Let your hips rise up toward the sky. Place your feet on the earth. Let the knees softly bend as the heart travels toward your thighs for 3 breaths here. And then we're going to transition onto our blanket here. So you can just kind of sit back and we'll just organize our blanket so that we're folding the blanket short edges together, making ourselves a little bit of a height, giving ourselves a little height here. And we're going to come and sit right on the front edge and bring the soles of our feet together for seated cobbler pose. So the blocks can be useful if you need them under your knees. Then we're just going to feel our spine extending. And so everyone just take a hold of your hips here and just even manually tilt your hips, pelvis forward. So you're right on your sitting bones here. And the spine is able to really find its position, stacking each vertebrae on top of the other. We're going to take our fingertips behind us onto the earth. So just begin to feel your heels pressing in together. Feel your fingertips pressing down into the earth. And then we're lifting from the sternum, like a string is pulling the sternum up, lifting our lungs, our heart. The head isn't surrendering back, but the chin is relaxed toward the center of our heart. Long, fluid breaths here. Let's take one more breath. And then reach your heart forward here. And we're going to take our bolster out in front of our feet here. And you may also have blocks on top. It depends on how much height you're going to need for your head. But we're simply going to let the spine release now, stacking our hands and resting our head. So again, you can use the blocks to have a closer head support, or you can continue down if that's available onto the bolster. We're just really looking to rest our head here. And if the resting of the head just isn't coming with ease, then just finding full upright spine, shoulders relaxed, gaze turned inward. Can you soften into any discomfort you're experiencing? Whether it's physical, emotional, or mental. And if it's intense, if it's pain or strain, we back off. We honor that boundary in our body. Take one more full cycle of breath here. Slowly releasing out of this position. We'll set our props to the side and we'll take our hands to our thighs and we'll help our knees come together, stretch our legs out, shake out our legs. Good, and we're just gonna come onto our head and just brush off our head, down our neck, just like we walk through a dusty room. We're just gonna do a little bit of just brushing off the body, the front of the body, the back of the body, the legs, just brushing off. Let's just take one more inhale and big exhale out the mouth. And then just shake off the hands, discharge that energy. And we're going to make our way onto our backs for Shavasana. So getting any cozy layers, props that you would like, a bolster under the knees, perhaps, and maybe something to cover your eyes. So if you would like an eye pillow in the room, I will grab you one if you just raise your hand. And we'll just shimmy our way into physical stillness and complete rest and letting go. Relaxing from the top of your head down the sides of your head, face and neck. Let go in your jaw. Continue this letting go just down both of your arms to your fingertips, your upper chest, down to your belly, down to your pelvic floor, all growing soft, yielding the energy of yin. Your upper back is softening down to your middle back, lower back, down to your hips, softening down to your heels. The front of your hips, softening down to your tips of your toes. Your whole body feeling both light and heavy as it sinks deeper and deeper into your mat. Feel your breath moving from your inner body to your outer body. Begin to bring slow movements into your body as you begin to stretch and move in ways that feel good to you. Slowly roll onto your side and into fetal position, pausing here. Your hands meet the earth to support you and slowly rising back up toward the sun, coming into a comfortable seated posture. We'll unite our hands together into prayer pose right to the heart. Noticing the sensation of your own heartbeat. Another opportunity to be open to love, to experience joy, to experience all of being human today, and know that we're held in such love and grace. Thank you all for joining this morning. I hope you have a wonderful day and weekend. Namaste.